Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of Kids Are Talking. We are on a roll here because kids are talking about friendship and romance. This is going to be a great show. We have a returning panelist. Whitley's on with her high school boyfriend, her high school sweetheart, and we have a lot to talk about. If you're watching the show, please, like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook or YouTube. Put your comments in the chat box for the panelists, and we love to answer any questions you have. We love to have audience engagement, so please feel free. If you want to see other episodes, visit us at kidsaretalking.live. That's our website, and we have lots of shows archived for you to see. We'll get that URL up there. It's kidsaretalking.live. So just hang tight and we'll get the panelists up here really quick. So kids are talking.
All teenagers are going through really similar things right now because everything's crazy.
You ready for the show, Don?
I'm smiling ready. I don't know. I've never smiled this early in a show, which is really interesting. First of all, 17th. Wow, our 17th episode.
We've been coming a long way.
And it's interesting when I think of Whitley. Like, I remember when we first decided to have the show, you said you had made contact with this girl in North Carolina,
right,
named Whitley, and I'm thinking, like, wow, she wants to be on so badly. She was the most enthusiastic first person to want to really come on the show.
Well, we took her, snippet from her audition video and put it right in the intro because she nailed it.
She did nail it. We watch her every week on the intro.
Everything's crazy, and all kids are going through the same thing. So, you want to let's hear what they have to say. She brought her boyfriend Zane out today. You ready to meet him? We haven't met him yet.
No, we've never done anything like this before, so this is going to be it's a fun night. It's a date night for Kids Are Talking.
All right, here we go.
Let's have date night.
Here's Whitley and Zane from North Carolina.
Get them on here. It's not the dating. This is not the dating game.
No dating,
guys.
They've already been dating.
It's not the dating game because that's those days. We're past that. So glad to have you on, Zane. Whitley's a familiar face to everybody who's been watching Kids Are Talking the last 17 weeks, but we've been following every stage of her life, and there is this show. I should say this movie called Boyhood that I think was up for Academy Awards that was done several years ago that got a lot of attention because they ended up tracing a young boy into his college years. And if I'm looking at Whitley and what we've been doing with you, it looks like we're on the same path. We didn't expect when we did Kids Are Talking to have that little extra backstory, but it's happened with you. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, you started on the body image show and discovered things about yourself that you didn't know. And we talked last week with your mom about how much you've changed since we started the show, right? And then, of course, the ADD show and all the others. And the ADD show, we all know you ran the show while we disappeared. you would have been proud of her. Zane, did you happen to see that one? I don't think you saw that one. You heard about it, right?
I missed that one.
Yeah, it was a good one. Zane, maybe one of your date nights, you'll sit around and watch that show, and you'll see how she ran the show. I mean, it was pretty impressive.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
What'd you say, Zane?
I said, of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. And then, of course, we had her on with her mom last week, and now it's time for you. And probably before you know it, she'll be doing something from college, and maybe you too. I don't know, Zane. We'll see where things go with the two of you. Already, I have an interesting observation about the two. You look alike.
I will tell you, that's a new one. We haven't heard that one.
No one has said that. I'm particularly intuitive, by the way, about these kinds of things, just so you know. I don't know what it is about me, but I pay attention to those things.
Yeah.
And when I first took a glimpse of you before the show went on tonight, I was like shocked. I said, wow, are they related?
No, we are not related.
But I will tell you, I will tell you, Dr. Don, I will tell you something. I really do believe in this whole concept of soulmates. And I don't know if we're going to call you, maybe by the end of the night we'll decide if you're soulmates, but I've seen people going out for a long time, and they do start, I don't know if you noticed this, but I think people start to look alike when they're close and they're connected on. Have you ever thought about that? Looking at other couples or thinking about that relationships being so close that they start to look a lot alike or resemble each other?
I've never really observed that, but it sounds really interesting.
Well, it might be a new thing to just put into that head of yours.
Start paying attention.
You'll start paying attention like you do to a lot of other things, Whitley. All right, so obviously, listen, my first question, it's an irresistible question, is that what inspired the two of you to come on tonight? Because it's not that easy to get young teenage kids, or I should say your older teenage kids, because you're seniors in high school. What inspired you? And we're so happy and so appreciative, by the way, that you came on, but what inspired you to come on tonight?
I mean, y'all had brought up one time, a long time ago, maybe doing an episode on like relationships. And I was like, well, I'll just make Zane come with me. And I talked to him about it, and he was like, yeah, sounds like fun.
Yeah, it sounded like a neat opportunity to do. So I was excited when she asked me to come on.
Yeah, Zane, it's amazing because it really, I don't know if you realize, not everybody would do this.
Yeah.
You aware of that?
Yeah.
And so what is it about you that felt okay about doing this? Because you've never done it. I know she's a veteran at this. You're not.
Yeah.
Well, what is it that made you feel that this could be a good thing to do tonight?
Well, it's a chance, to get our story out. And, not everybody has a chance to be able to share their views or what's going on in their life. And so, yeah, thought it was great to be able to do.
Well, I think that's you hit the nail on the head, the story. We're all about storytelling on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And we also know that there's a lot of terrible stories about love and relationships out there. Yeah. What's nice about Whitley is that, it's, as we saw last week, it's not Mommy Dearest. And your shows are sexy in a different kind of way because you have really a nice journey going and a nice story. And America doesn't have enough of those. We have sexual abuse, terrible breakups, there's a lot of ugly stuff out there. And so your story tonight, although I don't know what it is yet, we need stories that are perhaps a little more refreshing because the news and TV just loves to indulge in bad news and a lot of drama. Not to say that you don't have some of that for us tonight also, but I just have this feeling, that there are things that you're going to share with us tonight that other people need to hear and perhaps can be helpful. Because what is more important? The Beatles said it, all we need is love. What is more important? And to me, there is nothing more important than love and relationship and connection. And to have the honor and privilege to have two young people come on to be able to talk about their story is a true gift to all of us. So I want you to know I thank you for this. And I don't know if you'll say that at the end of the show, but at least right now, I'm going to say yes, that this is a good thing for everybody to hear. So, of course, I want to ask, like, how you met. Everybody wants to know how you met, how long you've been together. So, can you tell everybody how you guys met?
You want to go?
Okay, yeah, I'll start it at least. So basically, it was prom night. We went with like
Mutual.
Just
a
last
group
year,
of-
Whitley, what prom last year?
Well, we had our prom really late because our school didn't throw a prom, so one of
Because of
the
COVID.
students, one of my friends, threw it.
So that was last year. That was your junior year.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was like
Very cool.
late April of this year.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we went with like mutual friends and like a kind of big group.
We never met before that.
Right. We'd never
We'd
had
never met.
No,
Never
no.
met.
Yeah.
And COVID didn't help because you weren't even in school to see each other.
Yeah.
Did you even know each other? Did you even know you existed?
Okay. Well,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'd heard each other's names through
Yeah.
through announcements of the school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not face to face or anything.
Wow.
yeah.
Never face to face.
No, I will say, Zane moved over to our school our sophomore year, and I
Wow.
remember all of the girls were like obsessed with him and thought he was
Really?
like so cute. And so I heard his name like right when he moved here.
Ah, that was
Yeah.
sophomore. That was sophomore. So you kind
Sophomore.
of
I
heard
knew
about this guy Zane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So
But,
he was the new hottie in town, right? Yeah.
I mean, in a way.
That's okay.
But,
It's okay. So go ahead. So then,
So prom rolls around, and we go. Yeah, we hung out all day. I got ready over at one of the girls' houses, and then the boys came over to the house. And then we left. We didn't talk there, but we left and we took pictures. And they ended up like putting everyone, like coupling them up with people. And they had me stand next to this other guy, not Zane. And then Zane came in late, and they were like, "Zane, just go on the other side of Whitley," because I was on the end. So he did stand next to me, but I was with another guy. He wasn't like my date, but
And
I thought it
and the
was
first
funny.
words we said to each other was me when I said I'm sorry because I stepped on her dress.
Yeah, he stepped
Oh.
up a lot.
Yeah, that was in the first few minutes of me getting
Yeah.
there.
And then
And-
we all got dinner as a group. We didn't talk there, and then we went to the dance. And at the dance, I was talking to my friends. I was like, I want to dance with him, and they were like, "Well, go ask him." And I was like, "No, that's scary. I'm not going to do that." But he was we kind of were like close to each other the majority of the night, and I was like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. And at one point, he just comes over and he's like, "Hey, do you want to dance?" And I was like, "Sure." So we danced.
So he actually came through before you had to do anything.
Yeah.
So you already you were already on the same wavelength.
And that was
And
good.
then you had your first dance.
Yeah.
Yep,
And how was that?
It was fun.
pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was fun.
And is that how it started?
Yeah, that was
Pretty
that
much,
was how
yeah.
it started.
Yeah. So how did you know? How did you know? Did you hear you having this dance and you'd never seen each other before? And then, like, what happened? How did you know that there was something else? I mean, there was some attraction, obviously. Like, I mean, there was a physical attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
there was a
usually how
physical-
it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
What's
usually
that?
how
What was that saying?
I said, yeah, that's usually how it starts for the physical.
Right.
It usually does. Despite what anybody says, that is really how it usually starts, right, Zane?
Yeah.
So that's how it started. Okay.
Mhm.
Little gaze of the eyes on the dance floor. Were you dancing, kind of looking in each other's eyes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. The high school kids, I think the gaze is very important, by the way. The
Yeah.
way the eyes, they say the eyes are the window of the soul. I mean,
Right.
so here you're having that first dance and you're
Yeah.
kind of looking at each other. Okay, so then what happened?
I don't know about you. For me, there was one point. I have no idea what song it was, but he obviously knew it, and he was just like singing along to the song. And I was just looking at him, and I was like, "I'm going to fall in love with this boy." And then I was like, "Oh, that's scary. That's too soon." And I just like pushed it. I was like, "No,
Not supposed to be that way, huh?
no." I was like, "That's scary."
So what song was he singing? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I didn't.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
what it is.
Did you like his voice, or you like the fact that he was just a guy that could start singing to the music, or maybe
Both.
you'll
Like it was just cute. Like I don't know.
it was fun, right? It was sort of the guy could sing in. He's feeling the vibe. He's feeling the music, right?
Yeah.
He said this guy could be fun, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so there you go. Then what happened?
He also did a split,
Well, yeah.
and he was very proud having done a split.
What did he did a split? Did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at
what-
prom.
I got
Now,
pushed in the middle
what
of
is
the
that? What is a
circle.
split? What does it mean? A split?
A split like a
Oh, on the dance floor.
yeah.
So he's a good dancer.
Yeah. No.
So he did a split. So you like the way he moved out there, huh?
Oh yeah.
He had some rhythm, right?
Mhm.
So you like to dance, huh?
No, that was the only thing I knew how to do.
Well, it seemed to be attractive to Whitley, right? All right. So then you liked that he did a split. You don't want to do one for us, do you, Zane?
No.
You can do a split.
We could sort of imagine. I can't imagine me doing a split, but it certainly sounds compelling. So okay. So then what happened?
Then, when the dancing was over and people were starting to leave, I don't think we spoke or said bye or anything. I think we just walked away, then didn't talk the rest of the night. Then, when I left the dance, I added her on Snapchat, and yeah, it went from there.
Well, he had to ask his friends what my name was.
Oh. Yeah, that helps. And then you just started. So you started Snapchatting. Is that what it started with, Snapchatting?
Yeah, I added her on Snapchat, and then she texted me first.
Well, he didn't text me, and I was like, if I wait too long, that's gonna make it more awkward. I had like 3 girls around me. I was like, do I text it first? What do I say? Like the first week and a half of me texting you, everything that I sent was run by someone else. Yeah.
So this became you guys became like a conversation piece in school, right?
Well,
I think school.
no, school. I was still online, and there were only
That's true. You were still online. That's right.
Yeah.
right. I mean, it was during soccer season, so there were a few weeks left. But or a month or 2. But
So that's right. Because you weren't seeing each other. It was COVID, right? What a time to start a relationship, right? During COVID.
Yeah.
mhm.
What do you think about that? That was probably very challenging, right?
Well, yeah. If you wanted to hang out, it had to be like pre-planned or we have to both meet in a mutual place, like not at school. It'd have to.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
So how did you Snapchatted for a while, and eventually? So then, when did you finally see each other in person? And how did you do it during COVID?
I think one day I just randomly texted her like, "Hey, do you want to grab dinner?" Then yeah, we met up and we ate dinner.
Yeah.
And your parents were okay during COVID for you guys to meet, to go out for dinner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And dinner was good. A lot of conversation, communication.
Yeah, it was very borderline,
Yeah.
not going deep at all. It was just yeah.
No, it was a little awkward.
Yeah.
But it's just because we hadn't spoken before prom, so we didn't really have any basis to go off of.
Yeah.
Right. So how did it? Yeah. So how did it get to that other place? That's how it all started. How did it? Because now you've been together since spring. April, yeah.
I think.
So
I got no idea.
Yeah, he has no idea.
So how did it go from awkward? Now we're in awkward conversation, and you're out for dinner, and then where did it go from there? How did it evolve from there?
Well, I guess I assumed that she had fun at dinner or somewhat enjoyed it. So I guess I kind of pushed to start hanging out a little bit more, stuff like that. Then yeah. And that's where our friends come in because they can help the icebreaker a little bit.
So
so let's talk about that. Before you go on about your friends, let me just let people know what the history a little. They were supposed to come on tonight. unfortunately, they couldn't come on tonight, but I know that's the story. That's part of the story. So I guess that's what you want to tell us now, right? Is that
Yeah.
where did your friends come into it?
Yeah. So, like my like best friend's like dating like his best friend, but they weren't dating at the time. They were just kind of like hanging out. And so we went on like a lot of double dates, I guess, which was helpful for me because like all the like dating stuff was like pretty new to me. And so I was just like little anxiety, a little stressed. But like
Was he
not
was
because I
Zane,
do
was
anything
Zane
wrong.
your first was Zane your first boyfriend? Whitley?
Yeah, he's my first boyfriend.
And
But
go ahead. You were saying
I
so
just
that
I
they
just had no idea what I was doing. So I was just asking my friend, I was like, what do I do? What do I do? And she was amazing. She helped me and she was like, Whitley, it's fine. Just breathe. And I was like, okay. But so we went out on a lot of double dates, which made it a lot less awkward because they had been hanging out for a while and they knew each other and they knew us. So like the conversation was easier. And so we got to know each other more like through that.
So that's really nice. So the four of you became, and then they started dating as a result
Yeah.
of hanging out with you. Did that happen? And was that because you were kind of hanging out with him, and how'd they end up with each other?
Oh, they were talking before we were,
Right.
like before prom.
Yeah.
So they're together now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the four of you go out a lot together.
When we first started talking, we went out like a lot. But
Yeah, lately like our schedules haven't like they've conflicted a lot, so we haven't been able to hang out like all four as much.
So was that just a coincidence? Like you're best friends with Zane's girlfriend, and I mean you're best friends with Whitley. You're best friends with what's his name? Your whatever his name is, the other guy's girlfriend,
Right.
And
Yeah.
Zane, you're best friends with the guy, right?
Yeah, we're pretty good friends. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what do you do when you double date? Like what do people do during COVID and you're in a small town in North Carolina and you're in high school? Like what is a double? Where do you go? What is a double date? What do you do?
You can answer this one.
Oh well, we usually just go out, grab dinner, then just ride around and talk.
Oh, we did almost die once.
You did what?
Driving. Not
What'd
really.
you do?
We didn't almost die, but
What happened?
I like to mess with them about it, but we didn't almost die. I thought we were going to for a second, but we didn't.
How did that happen?
Oh,
Well, like there was a car turning in front of us, and he just didn't slow down. Which it was fine. It was fine.
yeah.
He did fine.
But when we all would meet up, we usually would go to a swimming pool a lot. We go on top of mountains. We go out to eat. We just go ride around and hang out. Just like yeah.
And I guess you obviously got past just having awkward conversation because we know that communication is a very important part of a relationship. I was going to say, what has been the thing that has kept you guys in it together and helped build a relationship between the two of you? What do you think is the piece that's really bonded the two of you?
I don't really know. I mean, we talk a lot and it's not awkward. We have like good conversations. And I don't know, we have fun with each other. I mean, there isn't really a thing that
It's all pretty natural.
Yeah.
Well, that's even better. I mean, just my bias is going to come through on the show, so get used to it. Like, I think my feeling is friendship. That's what we call the show Friends and Romance. That I think that you have to have a really good friendship. And I actually say even be best friends in a sense where you really can talk about anything together. Have fun, but really really talk about feelings and have opinions about things. Does that happen between the two of you a lot?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And
Like I think
we get along. We're both individuals too. Like we both got our own stuff we like, and
yeah, that's a big that's a big deal, by the way, for anybody who's listening. Is it's good to have your own individuals, be individuals, and be your own people as well and bring that to the relationship. That would be pretty boring if that wasn't the case. Am I right?
Yeah.
Which gets to me. Is this your first serious relationship, Zane?
Yeah, pretty serious. I've had like casual girlfriends before, but as you get older, it's like a reality more that it is something that's happening and like can affect your life. So
it's not a crush. It's not a fling. This is like a different kind of feeling, is what you're saying.
yeah, I mean we're both turning 18 next, so it's like there is a sense of reality that comes to it.
So how do you know, or how did you both know you were ready for something like this, or did you know you were ready for it?
Like, I mean, kind of when things start out, like you never know where it's going to go. So like I hope that things would work out, but like I had no idea that it would like turn out to be like this, like serious, I guess. Not that like I didn't want it to be, I just didn't like expect it, I guess. Because like I don't know, I feel like we're young. It's weird.
Yeah.
Not weird, but like unexpected, I guess. But
Well, it's a little unusual. As a matter of fact, probably 50%. I don't think more than 50% of the kids are dating in high school like this. Am I right? Is it uncommon? How many people are really dating the way you are in your school, or kids that you know?
I mean, like I'd say there like a fair amount of people that like date like we do, I guess. Some people just want to be in a relationship to be in a relationship. Some people just get in relationships to see if it'll work. But like it really it just depends, I guess.
So there are other people that are dating in your school. Yeah, but do you? What's that saying?
Yeah. He's not going to my school anymore. So
Yeah, we don't go to school.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you saying.
What?
We don't go to the same school anymore. He moved away.
Oh, Zane is. Oh, you don't go to school together.
No.
So you came to the school and now you moved away from the school, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
How did that happen?
Well, it's I don't know. It's kind of weird to explain. A school about an hour away was talking to me, and they're speaking about me. They wanted me to wrestle there for them. So, and Hayesville's team is very small. There's like three or four kids on it. So I saw the opportunity, and I moved schools.
So that happened this past year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's interesting. I'm thinking about the two of you. So you met during COVID. You never had a chance to go to the same school together. And then this year, like you obviously had the summer together, right?
Yeah.
And then you now are. So you've never been in the same school together.
No.
Not when we knew each other.
No.
Yeah.
So what's it like? Do you think that's been a good thing for your relationship, for Zane to be? So you're like an hour away in a different school.
Yeah.
Because you both talk about being individuals. They come into this relationship individual. Do you think it's been better for the two of you to have the space and not be at the same school, or is it harder or easier, or what?
I mean, it's not really harder or easier because it's pretty much the same as we've been doing, but
Like
I don't
there
know.
there are pros and cons. I mean, for me, it's good in the sense that like I can hang out with my friends at school because I mean, outside of school, I've been really busy like applying to colleges and stuff. And so we hang out a couple times a week, and I think we hang out outside of school more than I hang out with my friends outside of school, but that's because I talk to my friends in school like all day. So it's good, I think, for me to have time with my friends there. But
How do you
also,
have? Yeah. Go
What?
ahead.
But I think we got a good balance of too much like every day, then a few times a week, which is what we do. So I think it's
How do
not
you-
like too much.
How do you find the time? You're both so busy. How do you find the time being an hour away and find the time to see each other during the week? On weekends, I guess, is easier, right? But during the week? How do you find the time to do that?
I don't really know.
I mean, I'm kind of like, hey, are you doing anything Wednesday? And he's like, yeah, but only until this time. I'm like, okay, well, I'm busy until this time. And so then we figure out when we're both free on Wednesday.
And what do you guys like to do the most? What's the thing that's most enjoyable hanging out together? And what's the best part for the two of you?
Well, for me, my favorite part, we always have car talks at the end of whenever we hang out, which basically we'll talk in the car before one of us leaves. So like we got to the car and we talk for like 20, 30 minutes and just talk about the day, talk about stuff that's going on. I just really enjoy it. So that's my favorite part.
How about you, Zane?
Oh, I really can't pin a favorite thing. I mean, I really don't got a specific thing I enjoy the most, but time's time together. So
at nighttime, do you FaceTime? How do kids talk now at night when they're dating? Is it Snapchat, FaceTime? In our days, it was just a telephone.
Well, I normally don't FaceTime people. She's been really, really asking me to do it lately, so I guess I've been FaceTiming a little more
Yeah,
than I normally do.
you're having more fun than you thought you would.
So you like seeing him? You like seeing him when you can talk to him, right?
Yeah.
You didn't have that. That's kind of a cool thing to be. And so, Zane, that's new for you. You're not really a FaceTime guy.
Yeah. I was never really into FaceTiming.
Yeah, the first time I brought it up, he made it seem like it would be torture and the worst thing in the entire world. So I didn't bring it up for like a long time. And I was like, look, he was out of town, like seeing family or something. I was like, look, you've been out of town for a while. Can we like FaceTime? He was like, I mean, I guess if you really want to. And I was like, technically that's a yes. So, okay.
So let me tell you what's interesting. I have a 20-year-old kid that I see in therapy. And it's amazing to show you how cynical people have become about relationships. He was just saying to me tonight, I'm going to watch the show. And he says, if this girl's such a nice girl, she couldn't be possibly dating a guy that's a good guy. People are so jaded. People are really jaded about that now. Do you know that about relationships? It's like they can't imagine that like a nice girl like you, Whitley, could want to be with a nice guy. He was saying like, he must be, I hate to say, he said he must be a dick. I mean, like he's pretty negative and angry, thinking that this can't be. That you can't have two people that are just nice who really just enjoy each other's company. And what do you think about that attitude? And I think that's probably not an unusual attitude, by the way. No. What do you think about that attitude?
No, I've heard a lot of people with the same opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where does that come from? Do you think that kind of cynicism about relationships, young relationships, maybe older relationships, certainly young relationships?
I mean,
we're so mistrustful of friendship and love and romance. Yeah. Where is that coming from in our society now?
I think a lot of it is seeing like people you care about like get hurt, and so you're like, well, she's like one of your girlfriends, like her boyfriend like dumps her or whatever. You're like, oh, well, he's just a horrible human being. Because my friend's amazing and perfect. And so then once you see that happen a couple of times, you're like, okay, well, like good girls, the guys they date always end up like bad or whatever. And it's like easy to get into that mindset, I guess. I think you just have to see a few like examples of that not happening to like get out of it and realize that just because it happens a couple of times doesn't mean it happens every time.
What do you think of that attitude, Zane? That somebody would think of you as a dick because you're dating a nice girl. Like how could a nice guy like you be able to get a girl like her?
Well, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off her answer. I mean, I've had people just hear and see without like actually going through and knowing what they, like what's possible, I guess.
Yeah, but people have cynical attitudes for some reason, Zane. I mean,
yeah.
It's like, look in the news, sexual abuse, people being really mistreatful, mistreating people, and people don't trust this. They don't see enough of this.
Yeah.
What do we do about that? I mean, how do we help people to have faith? Maybe tell us more about the two of you in terms of how you develop the trust between each other, how you develop a connection. You were both ready, as you say. There was time not to just have an infatuation. You were older now, ready for something more mature. I mean, what do you think the key is? What's the key?
I always try to be real respectful about everything, like, and I just think that's the attitude you have to have. Like, you know, she's a person with feelings. Like, what you do can affect like their future and stuff like that.
Empathy too, right? Empathy,
Yeah.
respect, right? Yeah. So he's good to you, huh, Whitley?
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I
So
mean,
you-
at one time, like, we were laying down on the couch and, like, my shirt was just, like, up just, like, a little bit because I was laying down. Like, he pulled it down. I was like, oh, like, is everything okay? He's like, oh, yeah, no. Like, it's just, I thought, like, if you wanted any skin to be showing, you would have done it on purpose. 'Cause, like, I didn't know my shirt was up at all. So, like, it was just, like that, like, took me aback. Like, but in, like, a good way because I was just like, that was really, like, respectful, I guess. And
yes, he wasn't being this like dirty-minded,
yeah.
like just thinking about sex. He was thinking about you as a person.
Yeah.
And I mean, affection's important. I'm sure you like to hold hands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will tell you, when I go to the movies, it's amazing. As an adult, I'm going to make a confession. Anybody that don't know this about me, they're going to hear it on TV tonight. When we would go to the movies, my wife and I would hold hands. I would look at the other couples that we were with in the movie theater, and none of them were holding hands.
Wow.
A lot of them, and then outside of the movie theater, you don't see a lot of couples arm in arm. You don't see the affection. This is not a show. Sex. Anybody can talk about sex, and we certainly get enough of that in the news. But we don't get enough about simple things like just kissing, holding hands, being arm in arm with each other. And I'm shocked, even in my generation, how we call it PDA, right? Public display of affection. I mean, gets a bad name, but like, what do you think about that in terms of what I'm saying? In terms of expressing love for each other, obviously in physical ways, not necessarily sexual ways. I mean, just holding hands, being affectionate. Is that something that you both see as an important piece of your relationship and relationships in general?
I mean, my love language, like giving and receiving, is physical touch. So that's
Love
something.
language. Remember the love language. I'm glad you brought up love. Like Chris brought that up. Tell us about that. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Physical touch. You like physical touch. That's a love
Yeah.
language for you.
yeah. So it's like important for me, I guess.
What other love languages in the love languages? Maybe you can refresh people's memory about the love languages.
I'm not like an expert on this, but there are 5. It's like physical touch, which is just like, it doesn't have to be like it's not like in a sexual way. It's just like
Right.
whatever, literally
Right.
just physical touch.
Right.
Words of affirmation, which is just like, hey, I love you, like, glad we're together, like, just words of affirmation.
Right.
Quality time, which is just like spending time together.
Service, I think, was one, wasn't it?
Service, acts of service, like
Acts of
doing
service.
things, like, if like, I don't know, just like doing things for them. And then giving gifts. So like, just, and it's not like big elaborate things. It's just like, if you're walking by somewhere and you see something you like, or see something you think like you just get it for them, like give it to them.
So for you, it's affection, like holding hands, cuddling,
Yeah.
having
Physical touch.
So Zane, how is he? Is he pretty good at that?
Yeah.
Zane, you like that? That's her love language for you?
Yeah. I mean, I can be touchy, I guess. Just like,
You can be touchy.
it's random.
But is that not your main love language? What would be your main love language?
I mean, to be honest, I never really took the time to think about what mine is. But if I had to pick one of the 5, it'd probably be spending time together.
Nice. Well, those are pretty good things.
Yeah.
And how do you develop trust with each other? Where's the trust come from?
you want to start?
I think it all starts with communication.
Yeah.
You know, just being able to say, "Hey, I want this," or "Hey, let's do this," or stuff like that.
Do you know that I was listening to the radio today, and they actually said this was Conflict Resolution Day? I never knew there was such a thing as
Wow.
Conflict Resolution Day. You know what conflict resolution is?
Mhm.
For anybody that doesn't know what conflict resolution is that it sounds like what you guys do, that if you have communication, even if you're having a problem with each other, you talk it out and really resolve it with each other. And you guys do that well?
Yeah, if anything, we communicate a lot. Like I've struggled a fair amount with like anxiety. So like I'm just like, hey, I know, whatever. But like I'll just like ask him, I'll be like, what did that mean? Or like when you said that, what did that mean? And it's never anything bad. It's never what I'm overthinking it to be. But it's
Okay.
just communicating, because if I didn't ask, I'd get upset and be like, oh, he said this or whatever. And then that would cause issues. So like me just being like, hey, when you said this, you didn't mean this, right? And he's like, no, that's not at all. That's not what I meant at all. Like,
So I think what you're talking about, which is very important in relationships, is that, and believe me, I do a lot of couples therapy with people much older than you, is that people make assumptions. You feel anxious and you think that maybe Zane is feeling something that maybe he's not feeling at all. So by checking it out and not assuming what it is, you ask him.
right.
Is that what you're basically trying to say? And then Zane
Yeah.
can, and I bet a lot of times it's not what you thought it was, right?
No, it's like never what I think it is. And he's like,
And that's
"Why'd you say that?"
and that's a big relief, right?
Yeah. No.
Zane, that's probably a big relief to you too, because probably what she was thinking wasn't so good. So it's
Yeah.
better that she asks you, right? Or
Yeah,
else then you don't have conflict resolution, then you have misunderstanding, right?
yeah.
And do you have that same? What do you think about that? Do you have that same feeling? I mean, do you sometimes feel like you got to check things out, or might assume something that's not really true? And
No, I never really. I don't think a lot of stuff too much. If it happens, it happens. Like I don't really know.
Yeah. I wish I just had his mindset with things, because it seems like it makes life 1,000 times easier.
you mean you think Zane he doesn't get in? He doesn't get caught up in that stuff? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
He's a little more. Are you trying to say he's less complicated than you, or something?
Yeah. Just more like kind of like go with the flow. Like,
But maybe that's where you complement each other, right?
yeah.
Because we've learned from you. You know, you're very introspective. You think a lot about things. You're very analytic, and sometimes you get anxious. And Zane, maybe that's one of the things that he compliments you with. He's a little more easygoing. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? And he kind of balances you out.
Yeah, I feel
What is she-
one of my stronger traits is not getting flustered very easily, being able to like, I don't know, to keep moving in a
That probably helps you. That probably helps you in sports too, right? As an athlete.
Sports, school, you know, everything, just being able to adapt
So-
pretty easy.
So you know you can already get why you're a compliment to Whitley. How does she compliment? What is it that she brings to you in the relationship?
Being able to like appreciate stuff that like I don't really think about that much, like smaller stuff.
Her sensitivity, you mean? Like
Yeah, being able to appreciate the little stuff, I guess.
stuff that maybe you wouldn't necessarily notice or see. Right?
Yeah.
So I got a good one for the two of you. There's a great. By the way, I recommend this column to everybody. Every Sunday in the style section of the New York Times, there's a section called Modern Love,
Mhm.
and there was a really good article this week about that. And we're talking about like this woman. She was in a bad relationship, and then she met this guy. They had a good communication, but what she was attracted. He was kind of quirky. He had something unusual about him. He had put little notes in his socks, believe it or not, and there was. She found that some very attractive, that he had this kind of quirky side to him, and she was drawn to that. There was something a little unusual. Is there something quirky about Zane that you would say is different than other guys you've known? Maybe
Like,
not a note in the
It's
sock.
kind of just like who he is as a person, I guess. And
Who he
like,
is as
I mean this in like the best way possible. It's just like whenever we first like started talking and stuff, he was like really, really quiet. And like I never, I mean, I still don't know what's going on in his head like half the time. but it's just like, I don't know. Like half the stuff that he says just catches me like really off guard, more than half.
Like what
And
kind
it
of
was-
what kind of thing would that be that you find is?
There you go.
I'm trying to think. It's just like everything.
Well, maybe you like his quietness. It sounds
Spontaneous.
like he's a little quiet and a little mysterious to you, and maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I like analyze people a lot, not like on purpose or like in an invasive way, but I'm just like, oh, I wonder like why they did this, and it's part of it's due to anxiety and like overthinking, and I can usually figure people out pretty well.
Right.
I can't figure him out, which is part of like it's a good thing because it's like a puzzle you can never solve.
So he's kind of challenging. So it's like you don't. He's not an open book. So there's sort of
always
something mysterious.
interesting.
So there's something mysterious
Always
about him.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So if he was like you, you'd be too much the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't date someone that was exactly like me.
So what about? Yeah. So yes. What'd you say? It's what? If he was too much like you, what?
It would be horrible. There would be so much anxiety, so much just.
You like that he's a little more cool and low key and doesn't let things fluster him. So what's quirky about this woman over here?
Oh,
for you.
Well, for one thing, she's very caring. She always takes.
You can tell her. You can look at her and tell her that. You can look at her, Zane. You can look at her. She's right there. You can tell her.
You can look at me.
I'm trying.
You can look right at her and say it. Zane, give her a little gaze and look right at her. Go ahead. There. That's nice. That's nice. Go ahead. Say it now, Zane. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, she's very careful and I like that. I like her attention to detail. She does a lot of things well. Yeah.
Do you have trouble saying it to her face because you're talking about her like she's in the third person? She's right there. Is that hard for you, Zane? You're kind of shy, I think, a little more introverted, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what we would be doing if you were in couples therapy, I would be telling you to look directly at her and tell her what you were feeling. Okay, so just that's nice. I like that. See, you like that, Whitley?
Yeah.
That's really nice. There you go. A little tip on kids are talking tonight for you.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. And how about humor? How important is humor in a relationship? Having, I mean, the dancing is fun. Doing a lot of out of the box things. Do you guys do that kind of thing together too? You like to have fun together and laugh?
Yeah, I like to joke with her a lot because she believes everything I say.
Okay, well, he says it with like a completely straight face, like, and it's stuff that no one would like lie about, and I'm just.
I like making up just random stuff that she believes it the whole day.
So that's kind of fun.
Like no one would just like make up. So like.
So that's kind of, you like that.
Yeah.
You find that interesting. Yeah. How are we doing tonight together? Is this nice tonight? How's this feel tonight? Huh?
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It's funny. Zane, I didn't know what you could. I can see that you're. That it even makes me more impressed that you came on tonight because I see that you're a little more inward. Whitley's a little more out there with her feelings, but I sense that you feel things very deeply, but you do it in your own way. You have different styles about you.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that you came on anyway. This is not your comfort zone, right, Whitley? No. I mean, it's amazing. Actually, it's not. It's clear to me that this is not your comfort zone. Am I right to do something like this?
This is actually my first Zoom call I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the first what? The first
like basically Zoom. Like it's
like yeah.
Never done anything like this.
No.
But yet you were very open to coming on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in trying anything.
So that maybe is one of the things that's quirky about him and attractive is that you're willing to go out of the box and go out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To anybody that's watching the show, Mike, I don't know. I mean, the fact that you're doing this with the kind of personality that I see tonight is really quite impressive, Whitley. I have to tell you. I mean, because willing to take the risk and to come on and do something that's not natural to you. Whitley, is that attractive? It's attractive to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I'm
Really,
really glad that he, was
No,
willing to do this.
Willie and Zane, you guys are great. My question is,
I like the way they just looked at each other. Mike, did you see that?
I did. They had a
That
little
was
moment
nice,
there. That was
Zane.
good.
I like that. Was really. Let's get a shot of that. That's nice, right? Really like it. Go ahead, Mike. What were you going to say?
We'll freeze frame that for the thumbnail.
What'd you say, Mike?
I was wondering, a lot of kids don't have a support, a partner support like this in high school. And I'm wondering, do you guys feel like it's helped you get through different things at school to have someone to kind of lean on that you can trust? Or is it, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, the most recent thing I can think of was when I moved schools, and she was just there like, "Oh, you're gonna do great. It's gonna be fine." Stuff like that.
Yeah. And I stress about like everything. I'll just be like, Zane. And he'll like help me through it. So
it's a real comfort.
Yeah.
That's the best friendship thing I was talking about. Just that you're friends, right?
Yeah.
That you can really just give each other comfort and support, right?
Mhm.
And you don't get that necessarily just from I mean, both of you obviously have friends, but it's different when you have a relationship. Would you say you're best friends?
Are we best friends?
I don't know.
Like, yeah.
I have another question. This is, by the way, I have to tell you, I say this to a lot of couples I see who struggle in my office. I think it's important to know where people come from. Like, I know Whitley's mom. I know about her father only from last week's show. Is it nice saying, are you part of her parent? Are you part of the family? Do her parents embrace you? Do you like her parents? Do you like where she comes from? You like where she comes from?
Yeah, I feel like they like me, and our families, we have two completely different backgrounds, like way different styles of growing up.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, by the way. Yeah. So what's the difference in your style and your family?
Well, I'm a military child. This is my 11th school I've been to.
Wow.
I've been traveling my whole life.
Your dad's been deployed. You mean your dad gets deployed a lot?
Yeah.
Wow. So you moved around a lot.
Yeah, I've been about everywhere.
Has that been hard for you? Has that been hard to be moving around so much?
I mean, no. I mean, not really. It's really all I've known. So
I'm good. You got to move around. It's good you got to move around into this town, or you two never would have met.
Oh yeah. No, if I almost didn't go to prom, because I was just like not feeling it. But I ended up if I didn't go to prom, we wouldn't have met, and he just changed schools right after that. So
you think this was meant? So you think this was a meant to be Whitley kind of thing for you?
Yeah. I think it was so close. There are only so many coincidences, I guess.
I never believe in coincidences, just so you know that, Whitley.
Yeah. I mean,
we call that. You ever hear the word synchronicity?
Yeah.
The word synchronicity means coincidences are it's a meaningful coincidence.
Right. Like that's what
you think that's true? Can you go to that place, Zane? Do you think it's a meaningful coincidence?
Yeah. Along the lines of that, yeah.
It's a new word for you tonight, synchronicity. Do you know about that word, synchronicity?
I've heard of it a few times, but I never actually knew what it meant.
We could even say that maybe soulmates. Do you think you might be soulmates?
Is there any advice you guys have for some other kids that maybe things you did wrong or things you might?
First, I want to see if they think they're soulmates, or is that
they were avoiding that question.
I think you should answer this. I'm gonna put
you want to answer that?
I was trying to save him from having to answer.
Mike's trying to save you. Do you want Mike to save you from that one?
Yeah.
All right. Mike was right on that. Mike, sometimes you're on the money. So now go ahead, Nine. Go ask your question, Mike. We got him off the hook on that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Your question was for advice for other kids, I think.
Oh, right, yeah. So,
Yeah.
was there anything you guys are graduating seniors, right? So, is there anything that you feel like, you could have done different or done better? That some advice you have some other kids that now that you've been through this.
No, you're experts. You're experts on relationship. Mike is trying to say.
What I will say is like if things don't work out with someone, to not like worry about it as much or like wonder as much what ifs, because like if it didn't work out, it didn't work out for a reason. I know a lot of people in high school. I mean, I've been guilty of it too in the past, to just like to think like, oh well, like if I get a boyfriend, or like if I'm in a relationship, like then like I'll be like happier, like it'll whatever. But like we're young. Like if you don't find like your person by your freshman year of high school, that doesn't mean you're never going to. Like,
Right.
Because when I was in high school, I felt like sometimes I had to choose between my girlfriend and my friends. They didn't always have crossovers, so I know that was like my biggest challenge was managing those two different relationship groups. I know.
What do you mean, Mike? What do you mean crossover them in terms of what?
Well, my girlfriend didn't always like my friends, and my friends didn't really care.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, in your case, it sounds like you guys, your friends you get along with your different friends. Am I right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also thinking, Zane, do you want to answer Mike's question? Do you have any advice you would give people?
I mean, all I'd say is if you're having fun with something, make the most of it. Because anything can happen at any time.
So enjoy it as it's there. Go with it as it's there.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I like that you both said tonight is that it's important to have your individuality. So you don't live for the other one. We call that codependency, that you don't let the other one define who you are. You have your own separate selves. And that's probably why you were finally ready for each other. A lot of couples tend to sometimes get infatuated or have this, idealization, but they're not developing themselves.
Yeah, like for this past week, we both had college, so we're like, hey, let's get our college stuff done. This is more important right now.
Yeah.
That's a very healthy thing, I think, for other kids to hear. And I was thinking now you're both going to be going to college. And so I don't know, you guys don't know what's going to happen after high school with the two of you, right? You just kind of wait and see what happens, right?
Yeah. We're just going to see what happens.
You both seem to have a really healthy attitude about that, is what I'm sensing, is that it's like you're in the now. You're enjoying what you have now. It's not possessive. You both have your own lives and respect. And then it's more like not planning or trying to control the future, just sort of going with the flow, right?
Yeah.
And I've noticed more about that. I've sensed when Chris was on too with his girlfriend, I see that it seems like kids that I see today in your generation seem to be much more relaxed about that you don't have to have it all planned out or know where it's going, but just kind of be in the now.
Oh, we have one question.
Well, we have a question. Go ahead.
One question from YouTube. It says, it seems like honesty is core to your relationship. How is that built? How has that built your relationship?
Honesty, yeah.
Well, I mean, where we live, it's a small enough town where stuff gets out. So, like, if you're like, hey, I was here last night, we were somewhere else, like,
oh yeah,
someone knows. So there's yeah.
Cover your ass, right?
And it feels like everybody knows everybody on a personal level. So it's like there's no point in lying because somebody knows something. It's like,
yeah.
Make sure you keep it honest, and it's not, you don't hear about it from somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, yeah, what's it like to be a small town romance? What do you think about a small town? Well, that's an answer right there. In a small town, you got to really, honesty is very important in a small town. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else about being in a small town that makes romance and friendship a certain? Is there something about that we have to be more careful about or reinforce?
I mean, not necessarily with us, but like in general, in a small town, like you always have like girl code and like guy code, but like there are only so many people in our town, so
Yeah.
sometimes you end up
Yeah.
dating someone that your
Yeah.
friends dated or talking to someone your friends talked to. It's
Yeah,
like-
everybody's got history with somebody.
right, like
and
it's not
they often
an option.
intertwine.
What-
Yeah.
One more quick question, because I didn't get to it because we're wrapping down now, is that what's your relationship like with Zane's family? Do you have a relationship with his family, and that they?
Yeah, like I've
What's his problem?
so I was on
Very
homecoming-
different. What's that?
I was on homecoming court, and I took Zane's little sister Zola as my little like attendee. So she went out with me and like walked across the field. Like I love his family. He has 4 siblings.
There's 8 people in my house right now.
Yeah, and
so,
his cousin out with him.
Yes, so it's a little different from 3, but
Yeah.
Wow. How come you have 8 people in your house?
well, my siblings, there's 5 of us total. There's Zoe, Zane, Xander, Zola, and Zebediah. Then my 2 parents and my cousin, he moved in with us. So there's 8 right now.
So very different. Whitley being only very different. Probably
Yeah.
nice for you, Whitley, right? That's probably nice to
Yeah.
have all those people there, right?
Yeah, I like it. They're all like really cool. Like I love his family.
Yeah,
So that's really.
and I'm
Listen,
at her
you got-
place. It's like quiet, so there's my side what I'm after.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get, again, it's a compliment, right? It's different.
Yeah.
No, I'm waiting
you
for
want-
the day that he's gonna be like, hey, let me hang out at your house and like you can go chill into the driveway for a few minutes. Just let me get some peace and quiet.
What do you think, Mike? What do you think of these 2? Huh?
Yeah, I think they're great. This
You guys
is
are great. Wow,
hopefully
really.
they, I think they had a lot of insight, and they look like they care about a lot about each other. And I mean, that's important. It's important to have someone to lean on, someone to rely on, and someone, that you can just relate to. I think it helps you get through the day.
And I love that you're so different. What I love is that you're so different, and respect and accept and find the mystery in each other for who you are. And that there's that kind of mutuality and the connection of accepting that. And I think the point about not assuming, clarifying, asking what's going on, Whitley, that's good that you can do that with Zane. And I think Zane probably, you like that. And then Zane is able to let you know that it's not what you thought it was.
Right.
Right. And that's probably good news for you sometimes, right? In terms of your anxiety, right? Yeah. He chills you out,
Yeah.
right?
And like he
Chills
never
you.
makes me feel bad for like clarifying. Not like I'm like bothering him or being a nuisance, which is
That's really, really nice. So what we always do is to end the show tonight, like Whitley, one thing that you might want to say to people that are watching this, the shows about friendship and romance, what would you advise people to do if they're struggling to try to find what you're finding now? What would you tell them to look for? Or what have you learned?
I mean, people say like it comes when you're least expecting it. And I don't know necessarily if it's when you're least expecting it, but like if you're out like consistently looking, I don't think you're going to find it. I think you just have to kind of let it come to you and just go with it. And if like relationships, while they're fun and I enjoy being in one, if you aren't in one, it's not the end of the world. If you aren't in one currently, it doesn't mean you aren't going to get into one or that there isn't the potential or that there's something wrong with you. It just means it's not your time yet. So don't worry about it.
As usual, I love your last comment. Zane, your turn.
Oh,
You close the night, Zane. You get the last word.
Well, like she said, you don't want to be too desperate and look for stuff that's not there. Like if you're constantly going out, like we're trying to hook up and find people, it's like there's a point where it's just not. If it's not there, it's not there. And like she said, it eventually comes, but we have to wait a little bit.
Feel secure about who you are, right? Mike, you want to say anything before we say goodnight to this lovely couple tonight from North Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they're telling everybody just be yourself and love will find a way. So I think that's a great message to end on.
There's probably a lot of songs about that, don't you think, Mike?
I'm
of
sure,
lyrics.
and if not, I'm sure we can write one between the two of us.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, and
Thanks, guys.
thank you for adding the story of adding to Whitley's journey, and now we start a new journey with you, Zane.
And we're sorry that your friends couldn't come, but they're still welcome to come back on another
Yeah,
show.
tell your friends that they missed something. They'll get to watch you, and then we'll get them back on another time. We'll do that. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, thank y'all
Okay.
for having us.
Friendship and romance. You guys do it really well. Thank you again. Kids are talking. Come backstage so we can talk a little bit, and that's it.
So this was a great show about love and relationships. I mean, this is going to be the opposite of what's to come, right? Because coming
Well,
up next week is
Yeah, we gave people a breather. Now, what do we next week? We're
the
doing
divided America.
Divided
we're going
America,
to
and
have
then-
people at each other's throats.
So we go to love, we go to mother-daughter, we go to popularity. Now we go next week to the divided America, and the week after, stigma of mental health.
Well, I think the divided America is going to be a great show because we need to help model good dialogue about things that we disagree with. You know, Whitley and Zane, they are in a relationship, so they obviously have that common ground. Everybody doesn't. And
Right.
in today's America, that's a problem because that's cancel culture. That's I hate you if you don't agree with me. It's disgusting. And I'm looking forward to, I think that kids, especially the younger kids, they haven't reached that point yet. So I'm looking forward to hearing how they can have a comprehensive and articulate conversation about things that they necessarily don't agree with.
Well, I think what we found out on the anti-Semitism show is that kids get a bad rap that they don't know what's going on politically.
Right.
And I've already heard people who want to watch next week's show because they want to hear what young people have to say about divided America and to see that kids really do have opinions and do think about that. And then we're going to go to stigma of mental health the week after, and look at all the stuff that went on with Simone Biles and all those, all the things that have gone on, around mental health. So we're changing gears a little bit the next 2 weeks, but tonight was really refreshing and I enjoyed it. It was kind of fun to see two young kids who are really enjoying each other in their high school year.
Yeah, no, it was great show.
Refreshing. Good
Yes.
news for a change. All right. Well, Mike, see you next week.
That's it. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. And kids are talking.
And we're always learning. And it's always a great show on your part, right, Mike? Always a great show.
Another great one coming next week.
As Mike says, it's always a great show. See you next week.